Just like that, baby, we officially live on the official Wydoe podcast with your boy Wydoe. And today we got a special guest representing Alliance in the Discipline and Legacy podcast. I got Mr. Jonnie Parsons in the building. How you doing, big
Pretty
dog?
good, man. Thanks for having me.
Glad that you're here on the studio. It's we've been planning this for a little while, dog. You've got your own show. You got a lot of things going on. This is an entrepreneur, a businessman. He does it all. So first of all, foremost, where are you from, Mr. Jonnie Parsons?
I'm right here. I'm one of those weird people that's actually from here in St. Lucie County.
Let's go.
Actually born in Martin and Stewart, downtown Stewart, not and then raised in off of Midway.
Wow.
True, real white city boy.
Real white city boy. You got
Indian River Estates.
Yeah. Real 772. Shout out, man. I'm from. I claim Port St. Lucie. I moved here when I was 5. Before that, I lived in Rockledge, Merritt Island. But
Okay.
I'm a Florida boy, 4th generation. So it's glad to have you on the show.
Yeah.
So if anybody doesn't know, Jonnie Parsons, he's doing a lot of things on social media. He's got his own podcast. He's been a guest of many great shows. So a lot of times on my show, if I have someone who's been on a lot of shows, I don't want to ask the same questions. If you haven't already, go tune into Jonnie's show. See him as a guest. He has a great story. So I want to ask you what I kind of want to ask you, Jonnie, if you're okay with that.
Yeah.
I want to ask, growing up as a kid, you just mentioned White City. What did you want to be as a kid? What did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be a baseball player.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the goal. That was major league. So I ate, slept, and breathed baseball. You know, I talked about it last night. Like I think that was maybe even when my kind of entrepreneurial skills started too, as a young baseball player too, because there was certain events that my family wasn't able to afford for me to go to.
Wow.
And that were baseball related. And I remember my mom was like, "Hey, why don't you go ask people for sponsorship?" And I'm like, "Okay, that sounds like a plan." So I took all my little trading cards from Little League and put them in a folder. I went and bought a bunch of folders and stuck a piece of paper. I typed up a few things saying, "Hey, I want to go to this Dominican Republic for this baseball Team USA thing." And I went in and just sold myself, to these folks, and went to like 5 different car dealerships, and I ended up doubling what I needed to go.
Damn.
And it was an awesome experience. And I didn't even realize it until it was brought up. They're like, "Man, I was hustling before I knew I was hustling."
Yeah, right. Didn't even know.
So that's the thing, man. I think it's a spirit, or we all have it. I think we all have that entrepreneurial gift.
Yeah.
But like I said, I didn't even know I was doing it.
You didn't even know. We were just out here being kids, man. And I always like to bring that up because to me, there was no better time than childhood.
Yeah.
Being a kid.
Yeah,
Would you
man.
agree with that?
There was just the innocence of not knowing.
Not knowing.
Not knowing that you're doing what you're doing, especially like when I'm 39, so I was born in 1986. So my era is like, I think one of the coolest eras to grow up in. It was like, I tell my son, I was like, I was born before Google, born before the internet. And like that time period, like, was just an awesome time to grow up. I mean, we went from like, when I was a young kid, they had the cassette tapes. I remember my dad had records, like in a record player in the house, and he had like all these old records, and I would turn them on and play them. And just going through, like in elementary school, having the Oregon Trail on our Apple computers at White City Elementary, and just a time that was, I think, the best time to grow up, in my opinion. But definitely, for sure, childhood was awesome. Childhood is amazing.
Definitely agree. A lot of people say, we outside, but back then in the days, we were really outside. We were really playing manhunt out there in the grass.
Bicycling, getting pulled on our skateboards behind golf carts.
Yeah.
And I told my son that.
And now, obviously, I want to ask Jonnie, a big part of your show, a big part of, I think, your whole message and what you're passionate about right now is to help people get past a tough time in their life, whether it's drugs, partying. I believe you're sober now. You're doing a lot better in life. So I want to ask you, back then, going out partying, living the fast life, which most of us did, was it fun for you at the time? What got you into that?
I think there was a line that was crossed maybe sometime in the later high school years, to where, like, looking back on it in hindsight, I think that I was different. I crossed the line to where it was like, everybody else wanted to go home or go eat Denny's, and I'm like, I want to keep drinking. Or what's next? Like, I want to stay up. Like, so there was maybe that it's that same mindset that I had about anything that I like or enjoy. You know, people used to ask me, they're like, hey, what's your drug of choice? My drug of choice is more. It didn't matter what it was, whatever made me feel good, sex, drugs, money, and to the fullest, as much as I could get, as much as I could put in my body.
Right.
If it made me feel good, I was going to get some more of it. So
Yeah. And speaking on that, you know, and hopefully this show and this message and all of what Jonnie does is speaks to people that are currently going through these things, people that maybe are just getting over it, people that want to go get over it and become someone like Jonnie, who he is right now, a successful business owner, a married man, a father, a respectable name in the city. But I want to ask Jonnie, back then in those days when you were running wild, did you, because I always want to ask this, did you know deep down that I'm messing up? I could be doing better. I'm screwing myself up.
every day I knew I was like, I feel like that there was like, I knew I was already in the hole I was in. So it's easier just to keep digging than to get out of it. Like someone asked me that before too. They're like, why do you keep going? Like, it's like, man, my life was already, I was sleeping on my mom's couch. Like I had given away a career. I had, given up custody of my son. Like, there was really nothing. I was never suicidal, but subconsciously, I think, and I think looking back on it now, I was trying to kill myself.
Right.
I was using and fentanyl. I was using drugs that were killing people just touching it, and I'm doing large amounts of it like it's nothing. So I think, you know, there was a subconscious cry for help. And I think my message too isn't also for people that have gone through what I've gone through, but I think it's for like to realize that you don't have to go through that to transform your life either. Like it's most normal everyday people just need that little bit of push to, you know, to get where they want to be in life, do the things they've always wanted to do. So yes, that I agree with the, you know, the background and history of going through adversity and pain. But I think everybody has some sort of story, whether it's being a drug addict or anything, but some
100%.
sort of adversity or that they went through that has held them back from doing what they want to do.
Yeah. And speaking right on that, you know, whether it's sports, whether it's your career, bettering yourself in fitness, doesn't even have to be drugs and partying. But back in those days, Jonnie, I want to ask, because anybody going through these things,
100%.
do you feel that you held yourself back more than anything? Because I think a lot of people might blame people, but you might have had people trying to help you, but were you the person in your own way?
I was the person in my own way. 100%. I take full responsibility for everything that happened. I honestly, like to this day, don't regret anything that happened because it made me who I am today. It gave me the extra strength and courage to be the man that I am today. I'm still dealing with the wreckage of my past to this day.
Wow.
I'm still dealing with the consequences of the decisions and the actions that I made then. So just because, you know, I like my life ain't perfect by any stretch of the imagination. And I like to showcase that and tell people that like I still struggle, I still go through things. But for instance, the custody of my son thing, like I cannot truly parent my son because he's adopted by my son's mother's mom. So I cannot be a father to him because I'm limited by what I can and can't do from them.
Wow.
And I love the kid, and I still love his mom. She's a great person, and have love for her. But we just don't see eye to eye on certain parenting things. We co-parent great, but I can't give my son the accountability that he needs as a young man because of my decisions in my past, and I had to let that go. Like it's something that hurt me.
Right.
I had to let go and give him to God because, and even if he sees this, you know, he knows that I love him. He knows that I'm always here, always will be.
Right.
You know,
and that's important. That's a big message. He's saying, Jonnie's saying it was his fault. He took responsibility for that. And I think your son will be able to see that and understand that this version of dad doesn't allow the old version of dad to get away with it.
And I don't, yeah,
That's
the
important.
biggest thing today is like people trying to say that, especially with the platform and stuff like that, everybody has their opinions and they're entitled to them. You know, do what you say, what you want to say, whatever. But was internalizing what people say and knowing that who I am, confidently standing on who I am as a human being and saying, you know what, you're wrong.
Yeah.
And not from an ego perspective, but truly taking a look at the situation and my actions and myself and the actions of everyone around me and seeking guidance from, you know, God on that. and still being able to stand confidently on what I believe on, man.
Johnny, I want to ask, during those times, do you feel that you pushed people away?
100%. Yes, I do. I think the people we love the most, we hurt the most, right? So everybody who was in my corner, who was on my side, who was trying to do the best for me, who wanted the best for me, were the first people that I pushed away. And I don't know, man. Like looking back on it, was like, I always had it in my mind that like I would never become the person that nobody wanted anything to do with me. I would still have people in my corner, but it got to the point where nobody wanted nothing to do with me anymore.
Right.
Like my brother, I ran from the cops whenever they came to pick me up on a probation violation, and they beat the shit out of me. They punched me, kicked me, because and my brother like enjoyed watching them beat the shit out of me.
Right.
Because I was just such a
needed it.
scumbag like person, and I know I was, I know that I wasn't the greatest person, and I didn't do the greatest things, and I can't take any of that back. But nobody wanted anything to do with me, man, that last time. And when I finally got in jail and let my head clear for a couple of weeks, I realized that. And that was like a big turning point change spot for me. Because when I first went in there, everybody else's fault. My mom, she's did this, my family. But then after my mind got clear of drugs, alcohol, everything that I was doing,
You saw it was just you in the
saw
mirror.
the truth, man. You see your real self. And I think that a lot of times most people try to use to cover that up, but it's just a temporary solution to an ongoing problem.
Yeah.
That tomorrow when I wake up, that same problem's still going to be there unless I address it.
And I think that's important because a lot of, especially men, I've never been a woman in my life, so I only know men's mental health, let's say. So a lot of times men, when we're struggling, we want to push people away. It's not easy to ask for help or receive help, especially if you're not doing as good as you think you should, or you're in a place where you're not proud of. And on that, so don't push people away that truly care for you. Mm-hmm. And I want to ask Johnny, looking back now, are you grateful? And did you have people that never gave up on you? Are you grateful now that you're past all that?
My wife.
Right.
My wife never gave up on me. She is the reason that I'm sitting here in front of you right now, because I got out of jail. I like to say I got out of jail and everything was great and I changed and everything was good from then on, but it wasn't. And I ended up messing up again, and she got to see that part of me. And she was the first woman in my life that I couldn't manipulate. Right. And she didn't put up with my stuff. Like she put all my stuff by the road, locked the doors, locked the windows. And the first couple times it happened, it was like everything was folded neatly, like by the side of the road. I'd show up at home.
Right.
And then like the third or fourth time it was just out like in the middle of the road. The garbage bag full of clothes is the only thing I had because I'd just gotten out of jail, 6 months prior. And she has been my rider. She told me one night, she's like, "Hey, do you want that life or do you want me?" And I truly I don't want to live that life. Didn't want to live that lifestyle. It was a life that I lived for years. It was the only life that I knew. And it's easier to run than it is to face your problems and climb out of that hole. So, I think her showing me that she truly was going to leave me the hell alone.
Right.
And
she set the standard.
And nobody, same deal. She took me into her efficiency apartment. I didn't have nowhere to go.
Wow. I
was in a prison ministry prior to that, and my family didn't want nothing to do with me. I was seeing my son on the weekends, and and then once I started messing up, she was telling my son's grandma, so she didn't want to let my son come over anymore. So she didn't hold her punches, man.
Wow. Shout out to wifey, man. I'm hopefully I can find someone like that.
I had to put a ring on it. That's
hopefully,
for sure.
Right, exactly. Hopefully I can find someone like that, Johnny, to hold me to that standard and to bring the best version out of me. And I want to ask last one on that. A lot of times people will say, that version of me is no longer. That version of me is dead. I'm not that person. I'm a new person. Do you feel you're still Johnny of old? You just have him in check and you're disciplined enough now, or is he not? You're not him anymore. How do you look at it?
I do stand on the fact that I am a new man, because that's what the Bible tells me.
Absolutely.
It also says in Proverbs that a dog may return to its vomit. So I don't want to take anything for granted and say like I'm good and just walk away and say I'm good, because it's a daily renewing of the mind for me. I have to continuously on a daily basis say, hey, I have to do what I'm doing now, or I could end up back over there. Nowadays, I place myself so much in the center of the boat with the way that my lifestyle is and the people that are around me that it would be very difficult for me to go back to the old lifestyle. But when Jesus was on the cross, he said, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do." That I was a person that knew not what I was doing before, and now once you know, it's hard to go back because you can't. It's like
right,
and it's not fun anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's not. I just don't see. I go to bars and clubs and stuff. I'm like, how is this ever like something that I wanted to do? Like
right.
hanging out with my granddaughter at the slide factory at Candyland Wonderland over the weekend was way cooler than any club I've ever been to.
Absolutely.
Experiencing life,
Yeah.
That's what I tell people.
Always. I want to ask you, Jonnie. So, what was like? Because obviously, like you said, you've tried to do better. You went back. What was like once you finally accepted? You know what? I'm on a different path. And you, let's say, what was the first 5 days like from once you made that adjustment and you totally accepted, I'm about to change my life. I'm focused. Whatever it is, whether it was face, fitness. What was the first 5 days of this new Jonnie like? Let's say.
So that I would say that would have been when the wife, pretty much kicked me out. I ended up going to a halfway house for recovering addicts and alcoholics, and I isolated, but I isolated in a way that was like focused. Like every moment of every day was like, I'm doing this, and it was hard because of where I was at. Like I didn't have nothing, didn't know where I was going to get, the next meal, didn't know anything, and other than that I didn't want to live like that anymore. And then once I realized it was my choice.
Yeah.
I think
You had the power.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I'm asking. Like after 5 days of proving to yourself you can do it, did you feel empowered? Did you feel a level of strength? Did you feel a level of control of your life you never felt before?
I would say, yeah. I think there was some sort of a cheat code got released to where like I got through the little battles and realizing that like my perception of where I was at was a lot worse than where I really was at.
Yeah.
Like I had a bed to sleep. Like just looking at certain areas of your life, you're like, it could be worse, and let me just get through it. Cause no matter what, I got to get through it.
Got to.
So
sun's going to rise tomorrow.
Change my perception on it. And then, like I said, once I started winning those little battles, it was like, oh man, this ain't nothing, and I've always been that strong-willed, kind of strong-minded person, so it wasn't difficult once I made the decision and just started moving in that direction.
Yeah.
And, later the purpose came.
Yeah, I love it. Just I feel like anybody hasn't held yourself to a high standard, and like he's mentioned, it doesn't have to be about drugs. Could be go to the gym for a month straight. A lot of people don't realize the next level of themselves that's waiting for you to achieve it. You have to bring it out. And sometimes it takes 5 days in a row, consistent, whatever it is, to be like, man, I'm further now than I was when I started. And I didn't think I could be here, and look where I'm at. Look what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I love that. I want to ask, Jonnie, once you became sober, I've always wondered this. I smoke weed. I'm a weed guy. It helps me with my mindset. I've never been a big drinker, Jonnie. But for me, I want to ask you, as someone who is now sober, what were your dreams like? Are dreams different now that you're sober compared to back then? I'm always curious about that.
So... yeah, I don't like to say, I mean, I guess, so what works for me might kill somebody else. I'm going to start there.
Absolutely.
Because sober and I was in NA, we called it clean, like whatever you want to call it. But, I have the ability to make choices every single day. I could do whatever I want.
Absolutely.
I can go smoke some weed. I can go get a pint of alcohol at the store. I guess the mindset changed whenever you realize that like I'm not held back by a title. I'm not. If I say, hey, I'm Jonnie, I'm an addict, then guess what? I'm always going to be an addict.
Right.
Hey, I'm Jonnie, I'm an alcoholic. I'm always going to be an alcoholic. And those things, those places, man, it helped me so much. It tricked me into believing in God whenever I went to 12-step meetings. And I love it. And I still go to CR every once in a while. Started CR meetings. 12 steps are biblical. They came from the Bible.
Wow.
I think if everybody on the planet worked the 12 steps, the world would be a different place, because you're able to process yourself, process your past, see who hurt you, who you hurt, make amends, have a spiritual awakening, take a daily inventory of your life and see if you owe amends to anybody. There's just certain principles that you learn from that are amazing. And
What were your dreams like? I always wonder if people that come sober and leave, were your dreams vivid? Is it bad dreams?
Oh, like sleep dreams?
Actual dreams.
Man, I sleep good. I don't have no problems. Even when I was using, I didn't have,
right.
like even
I'm
like
always curious about it.
detoxing off of some of the worst opiates in the world. Like I never had a problem sleeping. I was in the county jail at Rock Road on the floor in a 10-man cell with a toilet 5 feet away from my head with a bunch of other people that were detoxing off of opiates.
Right.
You can imagine the smells and the sights and and that you don't get any medication to come off of it. I tell people that's the best detox I've ever been to, but I still slept there.
Slept like a baby.
Like for the first 3-4 days.
I was curious. Maybe Johnny's just a good grizzly bear sleeper. You know what I mean? You never know.
Well,
but
now I think it's because I work out.
Absolutely.
My wife has said she wakes up in the middle of the night and she's like, "How do you sleep so much?" I'm like, "Well, go to the gym every day."
Yeah.
And like,
yeah, because you need to exude that energy. You need your body to let go of the energy.
I'm sore every day.
Right.
Every single day I'm sore. Like,
and then for me, as somebody who used to do a lot of blue collar work, whether that was digging trenches as fiber optics and hurricane shutters, and now that I've worked desk jobs and worked media jobs where I don't do as much physical activity, those days where you're really tired, you get the best sleep.
But
feel great.
The mental game will take a lot out of you
Absolutely.
too. Don't sleep on these people that are sitting behind computers, because I lived both lives, and it takes a lot out of you mentally. It's draining.
So I would much rather be physically tired and then just be able to go to bed than have energy physically and then just be mentally drained.
Yes.
That's definitely tough. Shout out to all the women and men that work jobs like that.
Definitely.
I want to ask Johnny, when did you find faith?
When did I find faith? I've always believed in God. Never really knew like the whole how to be a Christian or anything, because I never went to church growing up. So I think that maybe that was a benefit for me, because I hear some stories of some people who it was like forced down their throat. But I found God in Rock Road. The second time, well, I was in and out for maybe like a year and a half. But the last time I went in there, I went into the spiritual dorm. And this time was I was almost off of probation. It was like 2 weeks left to be off of my 1-year probation for that I was on. And the probation officer had violated me, and for money. I had the check in my pocket, got off work late on a Friday, called her, said, "Hey, I'm bringing the money. I just can't get to the bank and get to you before you close." And she's like, "Oh yeah, don't worry about it." Well, she violated me.
Wow.
And I think it was like a blessing in disguise. You don't see it when you're, it was like I ended up getting caught coming back. It was right before Christmas. We went ice skating. I had my son, and my girlfriend she's my wife now, but coming back from ice skating in Lake Worth, and I pulled over in Jupiter to get gas. There was a cop there running people's tags, and we pull out of the gas station, and he flips his lights on and gets me right before we get on 95, and he's like, "You're Jonathan Parsons?" And I'm like, "Yeah." "You step out of the car." And I'm like, "Okay." Takes me behind the car, puts me under arrest, says, "You have a warrant for my arrest."
Wow.
And it was the same day that I talked to the lady on the phone, and I was in Palm Beach County, so I got taken to Gun Club Road, and there's no bonding out on a VOP, so I was stuck, no matter what.
Wow.
And so it was right before Christmas. I spent Christmas in Gun Club, and then it was St. Lucie County charge, so they extradited me, so I got to ride in a van, back of a hot sheriff van from Palm Beach to St. Lucie. And as soon as I got there, I put on the kiosk. I was like, "Let me go to the spiritual dorm," because I had found God during the time I was out. I was actually doing good. You tell the cop, you're like, "I'm innocent." They're like, "Yeah, we hear that all the time." But I truly was innocent that time. I was doing the right thing. Right. I was on the right path. And I look at, I had the check in my pocket, so there was money. My wife, was able to pay the bills and take care of things. And so I took that. It was like 35 days. My pastor, my church, they paid for a lawyer for me.
Wow.
And so I got a bond hearing like within 30 days, which is kind of like unheard of on a VOP. And it was just it was a time of my life where they say that heaven is a place where you praise and worship 24/7. Well, in this dorm, there's men that want nothing but the best. They want to change and transform their lives. Obviously, they're in jail. And in that dorm, men from the community who are associated with different churches bring a message in. So all day long, you're sitting there in groups with men that are bringing messages in and paperwork and stuff to study the Bible. And I think, I tell people that was the freest, the time of my life that I felt the freest. I was behind bars.
Wow.
And that was where it truly started for me.
Yeah.
Was because, like I said, a lot of people don't know what it means to have, to be a Christian, to live a Christ-like life.
Yeah. And I've always said some people just haven't been blessed with faith yet. Doesn't mean you're wrong for not believing or whatever, but sometimes you just haven't been blessed with the faith. So people that have found it, I'm always curious about that. I want to ask, going back to your business career, obviously this is a CEO, shout out to Alliance. You do a lot of great blue collar work. Would you have hired young Johnny to work for you if he would have came to you and asked you for a job?
Young Johnny was a badass.
Come on now.
Young Johnny was my first job that I actually went to work for a company. I made more money than my mom.
Wow.
When I was 18 years old. And she, I made like 44 grand making $11.50 an hour. So you can imagine how many hours I had to work to get to that income. And anything and everything they had for me to do, I was doing it. And like I remember like one day I was like, I want a raise. I was a young worker and I was like, I want a raise, and the guy didn't want to give me a raise. I'm like, all right, I quit. And I went and started try to find another job because I knew I had built enough value in myself where I knew the type of work I was doing.
Yep.
I knew I showed up every day. My dad always told me, he's a Vietnam vet Marine. He said, if you show up on time, you're late. So I was always early to anything I ever went to. Walk with a purpose. If there's garbage on the ground, pick it up. It don't matter if it's yours or not. And my mom worked for the post office. So like rain, sleet, or snow, got to go to work. She always showed me that growing up. Her work ethic was killer. And I definitely picked up on that from them and just not complaining, what good is it? Oh man, this sucks. Oh, I got to shovel this. I remember the first time they had a pile of dirt sitting there. They're like, yeah, we need you to move that over there with this.
Yep.
And they handed me a shovel.
Yep.
And I'm like, that pile of dirt was the biggest pile of dirt I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, what? And I kept my mouth shut and I moved that pile of dirt from there to there. And that was my first test.
I always wondered, to you, what is a grown man? To me, it's not an age. It's not just because you can drink. To you, what is a grown man?
It means being like a leader of your community, a leader of your household, a leader to your workforce, being different. Not going with the what everybody else is doing. And being able to admit that you're wrong.
Boom.
And being able to ask for help, man. A real man prays. A real man asks for help, and isn't afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
And
I've always said like a grown man has been through some negativity or some adversity, which then makes you realize this world isn't about me. It's bigger than me. Mm-hmm. I can be wrong. I can be taught. I can be led. I can be held to a standard. To me, that's what a grown man is. You don't have
100%.
to always be an alpha gorilla. Don't talk to me. I do my way. What's a grown man?
I have that. They call it like resting asshole face.
Sure.
Like I look mean.
Sure, I got
People
it too.
Like I go to the gym. They're like, man, you just look like you're in the zone. I'm like, I am in the zone. But then they get to know me and they're like, dude, you're the biggest teddy bear that I've ever met in my life. And the alpha. I think it's better. Joe Rogan said it best. It's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
Got to be able to do it.
So you have to. And people say, what are you training for? I said, life, man.
Life.
You never know what's coming. You definitely have to have grit. I think that's an attribute that a man has to have. I think that a man has the chivalry isn't dead.
Sure.
I think that is an attribute that a man has to have, and if you don't have it, it's okay too.
Yeah.
Like whatever you got going on is what you got going on. But I think leading by example.
I always ask business owners, is there anything that you need help with, or even as a podcast, or even as Johnny,
need
anything
about
that you need help with?
$500,000.
Pay $500,000 one time, direct deposit, baby. But I always want out of that, because sometimes you might need help, and somebody could.
I'm always open. Doors always open to connect with anybody with anything, man. So I mean, I like I said, sometimes people tell me I come off as somebody that maybe seem hard to approach, but I'll shoot me a DM, text me, whatever. I'm down to collab with anything.
Love it.
Always down to connect and grow and network. And so 100%, current needs is if you are a civil superintendent with experience laying pipe, holler at me.
See?
I need somebody. We're getting ready to get the pipe crew going. So, you can hit the Instagram DM or whatever. I'm sure we'll post it in the bio. But
Absolutely. Come on now, get with it now.
yes,
I appreciate you stopping
we will
by the show.
relocate you to South Florida.
That's
if you're
it.
somewhere in the world.
That's it, baby. Come on down. Florida, baby. We right here in Treasure Coast. Next time, it's your boy Wydoe with the legend Jonnie Parsons. And if nobody told you today, baby, stay blessed and you look good.